Are you worried about the big one? Are you afraid that eating fat is gonna make your ticker go bad? Well, let me tell you, it's not the truth. You've been lied to. Did you know that a study was done several years ago, and by several, I mean 50 or 60 years ago, by a guy named Ancel Keys, who had it all wrong. He figured that because cholesterol was at the scene of the crime when heart disease happened, that cholesterol must be the cause. But that's like blaming the police officers and the fire department for crimes. That's not the way it works. That's not what happened. And his whole theory has been debunked in recent studies. And I'm here today to tell you what it is that is the cause of heart disease, and it is not fat. If you thought it was fat, sorry, you're wrong. And it's not because you're dumb, it's because you've been given bad advice, right? So, what creates a clogged artery? Do you know? If you've been worried about clogged arteries ever in your life, or wondered if it was possible that you might have some, comment below and let me know. Just say yes or no. Yes, I've been concerned, or no, I've never cared about clogged arteries. And if you're new to the broadcast, just type new. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know where you're from. Oh, my phone, I keep getting these weird phone calls. So, what causes a clogged artery? Hey, Tori. A clogged artery is not caused by fat. A clogged artery is caused by high levels of insulin in the body. If your body has high levels of insulin in it, you're going to end up with inflammation in your arteries, and you're going to end up with clogged arteries because your body sends cholesterol to fix the damage caused by insulin. Let me say that again. Your body sends cholesterol to the scene of the crime to clean up the mess that insulin made. So if you're worried about fat causing issues in your body, it's not the fat that's the bad guy, it's the insulin. It's the high levels of insulin in your body that are actually causing heart problems for people. Mike, I am so sorry to hear that you have 3 stents. That is terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. I know that you probably have to take blood thinners and things like that now, and you're probably on a specific diet, but I bet you're on a low-fat diet. And I bet it's not a low-carbohydrate diet. So if you are worried about heart disease, you shouldn't be worried so much about fat. You should be worried more about insulin. And how do you keep your insulin low? You avoid foods that create an insulin response in your body. So what foods create an insulin response in your body? Insulin comes to the scene of the crime because of things like carbohydrates and sugars that actually make your blood sugar go up. Therefore, insulin has to go and open the door to the cells because sugar, which gets converted to glucose, is an energy source for your cells, right? So in order for your body to use the, good for another 100,000, that's funny. In order for your body to use the sugar from the carbohydrates that you're eating, it has to have insulin to open the door and let it into the cell. Well, what's happened in our standard American diet, our SAD diet, is that we've eaten so much sugar and had so many carbohydrates that our body is no longer accepting insulin's key. It's like your key doesn't fit anymore. We're not opening the door. We already have enough sugar in our cells. We don't want any more. So then the sugar continues to float around in the blood, which makes your insulin go up and up and up, because insulin's trying to do its job, and its job is to get sugar into the cell. And if it can't get sugar into the cell, it has to store it as fat. It has to put it somewhere. Yeah, Mike, I bet missing Mountain Dew is a rough thing, but you're going to be way healthier because of it. So if the sugar can't get in the cell, it stays in the blood. And if it stays in the blood, it needs more insulin. So the insulin either puts it in the cell, and the cell's going, no, get out of here. Or it's just saying, just store that as fat, we'll use it later. But guess what? Later never comes. There is no later, because we never go without anything. We never go without food. We especially never go without carbs, because there's always a fresh supply of carbohydrates just around the corner in a 100-calorie pack, or some sort of snack, or in the gas station on the shelf. You don't see, I mean, more nowadays, you see like hard-boiled eggs and sausage and ham and things like that at gas stations because people are starting to look for healthier options, right? But you can't just switch to protein. You can't just go from a high-carb diet to a high-protein diet because guess what? Protein also can increase insulin levels if you eat too much of it because protein can be turned into glucose inside the body. It's called, well, let's not get into all of those things that it's called because it's just too complicated. But yeah, I know you have to eat to take all those pills. Once you've had a medical intervention, natural stuff is a little bit more complicated to manage because you have to do certain things to stay within the parameters that your doctor needs you to stay within. And if you're doing blood thinners or something like that, you have a lot of rules. And one of those rules is you can't eat things that have sodium in them. You can't eat things that have vitamin K in them because it changes your blood viscosity. So, but that's a whole nother topic for a different day. We're talking about clogged arteries not being caused by fat, it's being caused by insulin. So if you're trying to figure out how to cut your carbs, how to get your triglycerides under control, because triglycerides are made out of sugars and fats. So picture a donut as a triglyceride. It's sugar and fat mixed together. So just think of triglycerides like donuts. The only way to get rid of donuts after you've eaten them is to exercise them off, right? So that's what triglycerides are. You have to exercise those off to get rid of them. So think of triglycerides as donuts, sugar and fat mixed together. Now your HDL and your LDL, a high density fat and the other one is a low density fat. And actually cholesterol is used by the body to fight inflammation, to repair things that are damaged, and to do a lot of things like that. Cholesterol is also used to make hormones. So if you've been on a no-fat diet and you think your hormones are out of control, guess what? That's probably why. So, everybody here knows that I'm a ketogenic diet proponent. I love the keto diet. I love to do things all keto, and I love to help people get into a state of ketosis rather quickly in less than an hour instead of waiting in 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, a month. But like I said, I'm just here to talk about cholesterol and how it's not your enemy per se. If you have a family history of cholesterol issues, of course, you may need a little bit more help with your cholesterol. I'm not saying that that's a statin drug. I'm kind of not really into statins, but some people have specific things that need specific measures to be done. So, you know, that's why we have medicine, right? Medicine is for those people that need intervention. But for most of us, and I mean most of us, we can manage our health by making some healthier choices and by reading a current book with some current research. If you're not sure, you can look up Dr. Eric Berg, you can look up Dr. Mark Hyman, you can check into Dominic D'Agostino, you can look up Ryan Lowry or Jacob Lowry. They're the scientists that work with the product that I use. Check with me, I can get you some additional information. But if you're worried about clogged arteries, what you is getting that carbohydrate addiction that you have under control, reducing the amount of carbohydrates that you eat on a regular basis, making sure that you don't go pure carnivore because you need nutrition in your body. You need good carbohydrates, vegetables, broccoli, spinach, cauliflower, things like that. You need healthy, good proteins in your body. Boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, things like that, beef, all of those things. And you need to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet. You need to reduce the amount of carbohydrates that you eat, the number of grains that you eat. If you're gonna eat grains, make sure they're high fiber, high nutrient, not processed grains. So that's the end of my rant for today, but I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was something that would be very helpful. And since I did an interview of a doctor the other day who managed to survive the Widowmaker, I thought maybe it would be a good follow-up to that interview. If you're interested in finding that, it's on my page. Maybe I'll take the link and pop it in the comments on this one in case you're interested. His name was Dr. Berglund, and he survived the Widowmaker because him and his wife paid attention to some really important details in the way his life manages, and they caught it early enough that he didn't have any damage to his heart at all, which is super rare. But anyway, if you're worried about that heart disease, Make sure you watch all of this video. Know that it's the carbohydrates, not the fat, that caused the initial problem. Fat may have been at the scene of the crime, but that's like blaming the police officer for the burglary. It's not the way it works. Thanks for watching.